Hello and welcome to our very first video letter. Going forward will be referred to as a V-letter. Products or services featured will be shot on location. So whether it's with the brand or in store, or if I'm having a conversation with somebody, it'll either be in a private members club or a bar or restaurant we highly recommend. I'm Anesu Sagonda, founder and owner of Sagonda & Company, a luxury lifestyle management business based in London and focused on making the seemingly impossible possible. So whether it's sourcing hard to find tickets for major sporting, entertainment or cultural events, or finding you an exceptional and exquisite villa in the Hamptons, the south of France, Italy, or some equally far-flung and exotic location, coupled with a private chef and access to some of the finest Burgundies and Bordeauxs in the world. Or if you're in a particularly tight schedule in London or would rather do something else with your time, we can help run your errands or facilitate your shopping and deliver either to the airport, your hotel, or ship to your chosen destination. Simply put, we make things happen. A few years ago, I started traveling into sub-Saharan Africa, not only to market my business, but to get a real understanding of the dynamics on the ground, in order for me to be able to offer a range of products and services that were both well thought out and most appropriate for the market. And as we all know, Africa is an incredibly resource-rich continent with a lot of wealth sloshing around. But what became apparent immediately were the vast pockets of new money, with phenomenal spending power and the most insanely voracious appetite for the finer things to boot. And invariably, with every trip, I'd get asked the same question or get the same comments. I've come into money, I'm coming into money, and I'd like to know, what are my options? It's almost as if there's an unsaid rule or assumption that once you have a certain level of disposable income, where you go, what you do, and what you buy becomes uniform. Everybody does the same thing. And the potential clients who approached me were very much concerned with being totally different and pretty much identifying their own individual style and in turn nurturing a lifestyle that was reflective of this taste. And quite quickly, a couple of sectors started to solicit the majority of my initial inquiries, and they were properties, and in particular interiors, and holidays. But what I found is that once a client had working experience of the business, it very quickly opened up the endless possibilities of what else was achievable under the realm of lifestyle. So for example, I would be in Kenya and somebody would say to me, I would like to build my dream holiday home in Vipingo Ridge in Mombasa. Or I have worked incredibly hard and I would like to build my family the ultimate home in Kitisuru, Runda, Lavington, or some other amazingly plush neighborhood in Nairobi. We know all the usual places that people go to for interiors in South Africa, in Dubai, Italy, China, but they wanted to do something different, something game-changing, something new, and something people hadn't even seen or heard about, but most importantly, something that reflected them, their taste, and in turn the lifestyle they would lead. Or I'd get a disgruntled spouse who would say to me, we always go to Dubai. It's a well-known fact, Dubai is an incredibly popular destination for the African traveler in both a business and leisure context. And once you've been a dozen times, the novelty has totally worn off, and that excitement of trying something or seeing something for the first time is just not there. And then throw into the mix the explosion of the internet, and in particular social media, which has totally opened up the world to anyone for the taking. And people would see the most amazing visuals of jaw-dropping holidays, and they would think, I wouldn't even know how to begin to put together something like that. And then throw into that equation the fact that there are very good local travel agents. The sentiment was that the person serving you potentially hasn't even been to the destination, so they can't really speak from personal experience. Everything is from a corporate template, and they are typically working with a preferred group of suppliers, and therefore there isn't that real personal touch of being able to match you very closely with the right resort or villa or boutique hotel, because they know exactly what your needs are and also knowing exactly what is on the ground. But regardless of the inquiry, the overriding theme was the need for educating. People wanted me to handhold and talk them through the options and let them know, what's good, what's bad, the pros and cons, and the whole raft of brands that are out there. And when I started traveling, I used to send out a newsletter to my clients, a weekly newsletter. And the pushback was always the same, the need for more and more visuals. And people would say, we need more visuals. For me to be able to buy something or appreciate what you're saying, I need to see more visuals. And I just could never send enough. And then quite fortuitously, late last year, I was in Southern Europe with a client, and I went out to meet them, and I was going to spend a couple of days just talking to suppliers as well, just reacquainting myself with them and finding out what was going to be hip and trending for the 2019-2020 holiday season. And at the same time, another client had also expressed an interest in the same destination. So on one of the days, my supplier offered to take me out on the lake as he had a new boat, which he was very excited about. And I indulged him and spent the whole day with him. And he showed me a number of really discreet but beautiful alcoves where you could go swimming, some of the most spectacular waterfront villas, hotels. And I got a good understanding of the environment and the amenities and what could be involved in putting together a really good package. And whilst going around, I took a number of video clips of various things that I saw and I liked and I thought would really resonate with the client. And I quite flippantly sent them to the client. And if I had known how spectacular a response I would have got, I would have done V-letters from the very get-go. It was such an eye-opener, and it was the catalyst to what we are now doing going forward. The V-letter will feature a comprehensive selection of products and services across all luxury sectors. It'll kick off with a penthouse tour of a recently completed waterfront development at the very top end of the market in Chelsea, West London. The focus will be on highlighting appropriate hard and soft furnishings for a property of this ilk, as well as always suggesting in tandem a couple of comparable mid-range alternatives. Each week, I'll look at a different room. For the living and dining rooms, the focus will largely be on soft furnishings, your cushions, curtains, rugs, carpets, integrated sound systems, televisions and CAD, computer-aided drafting, a nifty interior design tool perfect for international clients, as all it requires is the measurements of the property. Then mood boards can be created with various decorative options. In this section, I'll also touch on outdoor furniture. In the kitchen, I'll focus on the various appliances, fridges, freezers, extraction systems, wine coolers, cutlery, crockery, pots, pans, glassware, silverware, washing machines, and vacuum cleaners. I may just spread that over a few weeks, as there's a lot of good stuff to talk about. In the bathroom, I'll look at towels and bathrobes, ornate bathtubs, totos, and static fixtures. In the bedroom, the attention will be on linen, throws, bed frames, and mattresses. Essentially, how to get a good night's rest. Not linked to a particular room, but still within a domestic context, I'll look at wallpaper, tiles, art, wine, watches, and handbags from both a consumption and investment point of view. And then moving on to a sizable travel section, starting on a very high note with chartering yachts. A holiday which is an absolute game changer and highly recommended at least once in your life or every 2 to 5 years, budget permitting. It's eye-wateringly expensive, but worth every single penny. Picture this, a 7-star hotel exclusively yours, with staff waiting on you hand and foot to ensure you literally have the time of your life. And depending on the size of the yacht, you can seamlessly mix business and pleasure and comfortably have friends, family, and colleagues on board, all suitably taken care of, having way too much fun with no overlap. I'll also look at country manners, castles, and boutique hotels in Europe, with a heavy bias on England, which has some of the most idyllic properties offering perfect weekend getaways for couples, ramblers, gourmands, or someone simply being good to themselves. And recharging in a fabulous environment. There's a place for everyone. Moving on to villas, chalets, and some of the most jaw-dropping palatial-sized properties, all finished to exacting standards with complimenting staff, service, and appropriate toys and gadgets to boot. No continent has been left unturned. If there's a particular topic you'd like me to address, do let me know, and I can always bump it up the list. It'll be typically 10 minutes in length, punchy, informative, and I hope entertaining, something to watch perhaps over lunch. It'll be emailed to you on Thursdays at 11 Greenwich Mean Time. The V-letter will be curated exclusively for you, my clients, and will never be available on any public domain. However, if there's a friend or colleague you feel would benefit from receiving the V-letter, do send through their email address and I can add them to the distribution list. I'm incredibly excited about this V-letter and sharing with you what I know, and more so the ensuing conversations. Thank you for watching and see you next week.